More tensions, more violence in France tonight following the police shooting of a 17-year-old. Tens of thousands of extra officers are on the streets as rioters gather in cities across the country.
45,000 police have been mobilized, as well as the Republican Guard, with extra officers deployed in Marseille and Lyon.
Also tonight, Twitter users fury as Elon Musk puts a daily limit on just looking at tweets unless you pay.
That is outstanding.
Australia strolls towards victory as England pray for an Ashes miracle. And love, marriage and a little light lifting. It's the Wife Carrying World Championships.
This is ITV News with Lucy Watson.
Good evening. Police and protesters are clashing once again in France tonight, despite 45,000 more officers being deployed onto the streets. It is the fifth night of rioting since teenager Nahel Merzouk was shot dead by police on Tuesday. Today was the teenager's funeral. Since his death, shops have been looted, town halls attacked and police stations firebombed. As the crisis escalates, President Macron has been forced to postpone a state visit to Germany. From Paris, Sejal Karia reports on the country's civil unrest.
Tonight, in the centre of Marseille, clashes between police and protesters, running battles with demonstrators throwing missiles and police responding with tear gas. Extra officers have been deployed here, but there's no let-up in the violence. And there are fears these riots that have spread across France for the past 4 nights could now enter a fifth. From Lille to Lyon, where a protest which drew more than 1,000 people into the city ended in riots and 35 officers injured. Today, France's Interior Minister insisted the government is in control.
45,000 police have been mobilized, as well as the Republican Guard, with extra officers deployed in Marseille and Lyon.
The violence sparked by the death of 17-year-old Nahel Merzouk, shot dead by police on Tuesday. Today, thousands of people came to pay their respects at his funeral in the Paris suburb where he was killed. This video showing the moment just before he was shot at point-blank range by a police officer after the teenager was pulled over during a traffic stop. The officer has now been charged with Nahel's death. With tensions remaining high, extra police have been deployed in the centre of Paris. Officers stopping young black and Arab men as they enter the Champs-Élysées. As the shooting revives anger about policing and racial profiling in the country, igniting simmering tensions between police and young people. The French president is remaining in Paris, cancelling a scheduled visit to Germany, with fears that tonight could bring another night of violence. Sejal Karia, ITV News, Paris.
The owner of Twitter, Elon Musk, has revealed he's imposing yet more restrictions tonight on users who have not paid for a subscription. They will only be able to read a set number of tweets per day. Well, Harry Horton joins me now here. Harry, people who don't use Twitter may say, so what? Mightn't they? But social media platform has become a vital communications tool for companies and for governments, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Twitter's not the most popular social media network in terms of raw users, but it's got an outsized influence in terms of communication, not just from media companies, lots of governments, politicians use it to get their message out. Many of them use it to get information. We've seen protest groups use it to organise around the world. So it's incredibly influential. And what Elon Musk has announced tonight is a limit on the amount of content that all users can view each day. And now he says this is because of extreme levels of data scraping and system manipulation. Data scraping is basically where information is harvested from one website, uploaded to another. Now, it's not clear how long these restrictions will be in place for, but it's the latest in a series of quite unorthodox changes that Elon Musk has made to Twitter since he purchased the platform last year for $44 billion. He sacked around 80% of its 8,000 global staff. The bigger picture here, I think, is that what many would see as the erratic changes Elon Musk is making to the platform may turn some users away, be it members of the public or governments and companies. And the platform that has become so influential for communication around the world in the 21st century might not be used by as many people anymore.
Harry, thank you. Most British households will start paying less for their energy than they have done for some time from today. A new energy price cap came into effect this morning, reducing the average bill by more than £400. But bills are still almost double what they were before the pandemic. And it's estimated that more than a quarter of households will remain in fuel poverty. Ellie Pitt has more.
Because this is what they sent me.
Tabane Sitale worked as a critical care nurse before she retired. Since she stopped receiving government help towards her energy bills in March, she's found her electricity meter demands more and more of her money.
I wake up at night and I start thinking, and I think, I thought I budgeted well, and all of a sudden I'm on a negative balance on my bank account. You'd like to have some warm water for baths and stuff, but you find you have to be very careful.
But now average household energy bills should come down. Until yesterday, under the government's energy price guarantee, households were paying an average of £2,500 a year. The regulator Ofgem's price cap is now below that, so the amount the average household can be charged is £2,074, a more than £400 difference. But our bills are still high by recent standards. Less than 2 years ago, typical household bills were just over £1,200 a year. Soaring wholesale gas prices following Russia's invasion of Ukraine saw the cost to the supplier passed on to UK customers.
I think most analysts would say that the spikes may be becoming more stable, but we have stubbornly high energy prices for the foreseeable future. We're still paying £1,000 more than we did at the start of the energy crisis. So look, let's look at the facts. Anybody who thinks the crisis is over isn't paying attention.
Prices are expected to drop again in October. But like many customers burned by the energy crisis, Tabane doesn't trust that her costs will fall until she sees the money on the meter last a bit longer. Ellie Pitt, ITV News.
More than 50 people have died after a lorry rammed into a street market in western Kenya. The accident happened at a busy junction where crashes are common. The lorry is said to have slammed into several cars, motorcycles and pedestrians at speed. Its driver is reported to be among the dead. 2 people have been killed in a Russian rocket attack on a school in Ukraine. A teacher and a bursar died in the strike in the eastern Donetsk region. 6 people were injured, but no children were in the school at the time.
3, 2, 1. Ignition. Liftoff.
And a British-backed space telescope has been launched from Florida. The Euclid mission will map the universe in greater detail than ever before. It hopes to shed light on the mysteries of dark matter and dark energy, which scientists are struggling to understand. Sport now, and England's hopes of winning the Ashes are fading fast after Australia's bowlers ripped through England's top order late on day 4 of the second test. Play ended with England needing another 257 runs with just 6 wickets left. Chris Scudder was watching.
They've been queuing up to see England's new attacking style and what it lacks in grace. The accusation is also that so-called Bazball is just too reckless to beat the Aussies.
We all praised it when we were winning, and I don't think this is the time to now start sort of being disappointed about it and saying it's the wrong tactics.
So should England change back to being a bit boring?
No, England should carry on. England should absolutely carry on.
You're laughing, should England go back to being boring?
No. I don't think they're boring.
Or maybe they're just missing the vocal power of the Barmy Army at Lord's.
We're not allowed in. So I actually have a tattoo there, which officially they don't want the Barmy Army in. They en masse.
So no Barmy Army, but now Bazball turned to bodyline. The aggressive short bowling that shocked the genteel cricketing world of the 1930s was back. And as the short balls kept coming, the Aussies were rocking.
Yes, they have!
And the bowling was matched by some sharp catching. The Aussies needed every man out there, even an injured Nathan Lyon who could barely walk to the middle, much less run to the other end. It was boundaries or nothing, and Lyon was last man to go swinging. The target for England, a tough 371 to win. But there was not much Ollie Pope could do to stop Mitchell Starc from rearranging his stumps. Joe Root's departure looked like a fatal moment. And Harry Brooks' exit just made it worse. But Duckett and Stokes remain, and if those two win it from here, they might just rechristen Bazball Ben Ball. Chris Scudder, ITV News.
Meanwhile, there was a thrilling end to the second T20 match of the Women's Ashes. Australia beat England with just a single ball to spare. Georgia Wareham scored the winning run. The defeat means England still need 9 points to win the series, but there are only 10 left to play for. England's Lionesses could only manage a goalless draw with Portugal in their last game on home soil before they head to Australia for the World Cup. But coach Serena Wiegman said her team was in a good place and just hadn't played together in a while.
Adam Yates is the first maillot jaune of the 2023 Tour de France. A sensational ride.
And the Tour de France got underway today with a unique British 1-2 at the end of the first stage in Spain. Adam Yates finished first ahead of his identical twin brother Simon in Bilbao. It was Adam's first ever Tour stage win. And finally tonight, a somewhat more niche sport, the wife-carrying World Championships. Competitors from around the world have been taking part in Finland today. The aim is for one partner to carry the other along a special assault course in the fastest time. Hundreds of relationships have been put to the test since the sport first began in 1992. Some taking it far more seriously than others. But most couples do survive and live to fight another day. That's it from us. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.
Everywhere will be lovely and warm today. You might even be tempted to go for a dip. Heinz Seriously Good Mayonnaise sponsors ITV National Weather.
A very good evening to you. Staying blustery out there. We've got brighter skies, but just a few scattered showers through the second half of this weekend, introducing a little more cloud than we'd like in places. We've got some clear skies tonight. A fair few showers continue through northwestern Scotland, occasionally drifting into Northern Ireland and northern England. Staying quite blustery into the small hours and staying very much on the mild side for many. Double figures across the board, not much below 14 or 15 degrees in places. And it will be bright and breezy from the word go tomorrow morning. Wonderfully sunny into Sunday. But again, blustery downpours feeding through Scotland, Northern England and Northern Ireland. Moving through at quite a pace in brisk winds. So some slithers of sunshine in between. Elsewhere, a drier day, a little more sunshine on offer. And for many, a decent afternoon. Highs of 23 degrees or so in sheltered sunnier spots. Otherwise, those temperatures a little more modest, particularly in those brisk westerly winds.
Heinz Seriously Good Mayonnaise sponsors ITV National Weather.
Vaillant Heat Pumps and Boilers sponsor ITV London Weekend Weather.
Hello and a very good evening to you. Hope you're all keeping well. So you're making plans for the rest of the weekend. It's not looking too bad at all across the capital. Might just see the odd rogue shower, but for most of us a good deal of dry weather out there, bright or sunny spells, but it is going to be rather breezy. And the reason for that, well, we've got low pressure up towards the northeasters and high pressure down towards the southwest. And what that's doing is it's putting a squeeze in those isobars. You can see here drawing in that fairly brisk west to northwesterly wind at times, which may be taking the edge off the temperatures. Now in the meantime, for the rest of tonight, maybe the odd shower around, but for most of us it will be dry, clear skies and hopefully not too uncomfortable for sleeping in, with our temperatures there ranging between 10 and 14 degrees. So tomorrow morning, not a bad start today. There will be plenty of sunshine across the capital. Might just see the odd sneaky shower as we go through the afternoon, but if you catch one of these, few and far between. For most of us, it will be a dry day, lots of sunshine to come, and a top temperature 23 degrees at 73 in Fahrenheit. But as I mentioned earlier, those winds once again will start to strengthen. And looking ahead towards next week, sunny spells, showers and temperatures roughly around average for the time of year. Bye-bye.
Whatever the weather, it always feels like home. Vaillant Heat Pumps and Boilers sponsor ITV London Weekend Weather.